What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going over the Wrangler, plans with the Wrangler, what's going to change with it. There's a lot of changes coming soon to it. And then also I'm going to go over some parts that I do really like on this Jeep and some things that I really am glad I bought when I did. So with that being said, if you guys haven't already hit subscribe, make sure you guys go ahead and do that. Drop a like while you're at it. And let's go ahead and get right into the video. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start with the front, then work our way to the back. That'll probably be the easiest way to just go over everything that I want to change on this Jeep. So also I do want to apologize for the lighting for this video. I do have a new lighting setup coming for the GoPro. However, I'm going to have to use a flashlight until that arrives. But obviously for starters, a inner fender liner. I have these that I've had forever. They're the OEM ones. Definitely want rock lights. I want some KC Cyclone rock lights. And then also I'm going to want some coilovers and hydraulic bump stops. Definitely in the plans for sometime this year. It's just been something I've always wanted, and I'm finally in the position to be able to build this Jeep how I want, so I'm just going to put the exact parts on it that I've always wanted. Another thing that's like not mandatory but I want to do while I'm totally rebuilding the Jeep is the engine and transmission. So the engine has about 145,000 miles on it, same with the transmission. I want to replace those with just extremely low miles or no mile engines. Throw a supercharger on the front, get everything set up. I think that'd be a lot of fun. It'd be really cool. And it'd be a pretty unique thing. I also want to replace the fair lead and the hook with some Factor 55 stuff. Paint match it to the red of the Jeep, obviously. Get everything set up. But definitely some Factor 55 stuff on the front of our worn winch. I'm pretty happy with this bumper, actually, and the winch. It's a Crawler Concept Skinny Series front bumper. And then obviously you can't go wrong with a worn winch. This is a 10,000 pound Xeon 10S. Headlights and fog lights, pretty pleased with. No complaints there. Now, the next thing on the list is kind of one of those like optional things depending on which way I go with this build, but definitely front axle. So I was talking to Curry, and we might go with one of their Extreme Series front axles. If I don't do that, I'll do a Super Duty 60 front and get that all beefed up eventually. I do like the Rock Jock 44, but why not go tons? So eventually I will get that replaced. Let's go ahead and move to this side so I got more room to show you this stuff. But I am definitely going to want to replace the rock sliders. Let's see if I can get the light in there. So the rock sliders get a little rusted because there's no drain hole down there. And so basically it just fills up with mud, water, dirt, everything when you're off-roading down inside this little groove. And rust out because there's nowhere for that to go once it gets down there. So I definitely want to replace those. There's a bunch of different options out there. So I'm going to have to figure out which ones I want best. I also want to remove all the stickers off my car. There's a ton of them on here. I really like how the Rocky Off-Road looks on the side, but I want to remove them all. And I want to wrap the Jeep, honestly. I don't know what color yet. I want to do it in a color the Jeep does not come in. Something 100% unique, the only Jeep in the world wrapped like that. So I want to figure that out. Probably do it sometime this summer. Let's go ahead and move on to the interior. So I want to replace the Brougham Racing seats with some PRP seats, and I do love the Brougham Racing seats. However, they don't make the back bench seat. I still have the back OEM bench seat, the super ugly, uncomfortable one. I want to get matching back seats for the front seats, so I'm going to go ahead and replace those with some PRP seats. I haven't decided on exactly which model yet, but I also want to do a full cage eventually, something custom. I've been talking to Dalco about that, the one who's helping us build the back axle here. He's going to help us with a ton of the stuff on this Jeep, and he's also going to be starting a YouTube channel, so I'll definitely let you guys know about his channel. But also let's go ahead and move to the back so I can show you some stuff here. So I'm going to want coilovers and hydraulic bump stops again in the rear. And then suspension wise, super pleased with this Teraflex lift. It's done everything I've wanted it to, but I do want to go long arms. It's just been something I've always wanted, so definitely going to go long arms there at some point. Again, I was super pleased with that Teraflex lift, but I do think it's time to upgrade a little bit farther. So now that we've gone over suspension and everything, move around back. Let me go ahead and clear off this bumper for you guys. but definitely back bumpers. So this is a super cheap Chinese back bumper. It's from EAG or whatever that brand is. They sent it to me for free when I got the Jeep, and it was one of the first things I did. But I mean, it's held up all right for the price, but I'm not happy with it really at all. Let me show you the front and what I'm talking about approach angle wise with what I want in the rear. So with the frame chop bumper, you get such a awesome approach angle. It's just 10 times better than a normal bumper. So I'm gonna do the same thing in the rear, figure that out, get rid of this bumper, figure out which one I want. I'd like to do all my armor bumpers and everything one brand. Also want a big tire carrier. Obviously we need a pretty big tire carrier basket to fit these 40s. I do need to get this 40 mounted on the bead lock that's still on this 37. It's the 5th one of that set. But you can kind of see it down there. So I'm definitely going to get this mounted up and then also get the tire carrier. Haven't decided on which one of those I want either, but that's definitely in the plans throughout this year. But that's honestly pretty much it for things that I want to replace or things that I want to upgrade in the near future. Besides that, I am super happy with how the Jeep's turned out. It's come a long way in like a year. I really didn't start building it until the beginning of last year. So I'm super happy with it. Comment down below if there's anything you guys would like to see me change on this. I am excited to finally be able to start having fun with this Jeep once it's rebuilt and the back axle's back together. I have a ton of cool content planned for it and everything like that. But let's go ahead and go over some of my favorite parts that I've added to this Jeep and some things that I'm definitely going to keep on it. Alright, so before we start the list of parts that I really like on this Jeep, I did want to show you guys this. I don't think I've shown you guys any of this stuff yet. But we have Quick Shine coming out sometime soon. This won't be the final bottle. Obviously, this is just a prototype bottle. The caps will be totally different. It'll have a cap like these Chemical Guys spray bottles because that's a lot better for the Quick Shine. But we do have this coming out. I might give away a few bottles early. And also every bottle is going to come with one of our high quality microfibers. But let's go ahead and jump into things I really like. For starters, these Mce Fenders are amazing. They bend and then bend directly back to how they're supposed to look. I've hit these things on trees, rocks, all kinds of stuff, and they still look perfect. I did ceramic coat these when I first got them, but they still look amazing. One thing I also like is these tires. They do amazing for on-road, off-road use. The Reno Trail Grapplers, absolutely love them. My next size, if I do go up in axles, will be the 42-inch versions they just released. And also, another thing I really like is these black Rhino Reno bead locks. So these were actually the first set on a Wrangler in the world. These were the first set. We got them before they released. As you guys can see, they're a little beaten up from off-road, but they really do hold up really well against the rocks. Also really like this paint matched beadlock ring to match the color of the car. But I will have to replace these if we change the axles out again because the lug pattern won't line up. It won't have the factory 5x5 setup. It depends on which axles we go with, what we'll have then. But if I do replace the wheels, these will probably end up actually on the Grand Cherokee. The camera won't really adjust to the light out there, but I think this would look sick on the Grand Cherokee. Another thing that I'm super pleased with is the aluminum steering from RPM. Let me put my hand here just like for reference. This stuff's extremely beefy, and it's really cool being able to hit it on a rock and it flexes a little bit, but it'll flex straight back to where it was supposed to be. I like that a lot because when I first went off-roading with my steel setup, it bent, never bent back to how it was supposed to be and was bent forever. Another thing that I am super happy with is this Bestop. Essentially it's the top off of the JL factory soft top. It's really cool. You can take off the back windows, have like a bikini top style. The back windows come off and on super easily. There's a couple zippers and a couple pins, and then it folds up underneath the side. Then you can have just the top part on there. You can also fold back just the front part by undoing these two latches in here. Pretty much like every other soft top, except you can just fold back this part super easily. But I'm really pleased with how this soft top has held up. It's amazing, and it's probably one of my favorite things that's on this Jeep that's held up over time. So for next video, which should be tomorrow, it'll be on finishing and pulling apart the back axle. So when that's up, we should be done pulling everything apart, waiting on parts, and then it'll go back together. It'll be really cool to get this thing back on the trails. I'm super excited for that. And I'll also be fixing the WJ soon and getting it up and running and ready for the trails. So that'll be back on the channel. But as always, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.